I don't want to jinx myself. This is gonna be fast. You just heard a girl cursing herself. You just heard a girl signing her death certificate. Why would I put that into the universe? Why do I do this every single time? Okay, last time with feeling. One more time with feeling. Sorry for Buffy fans everywhere that I missed that golden opportunity to say that. This is gonna be fast because I don't care about telling you what these books are about because I wish I hadn't read them. Like, not that they're terrible, but I don't really care about them and I don't care if you read them. So if you hear what I had to say, saying that it was boring or whatever, and you want to read it, that's on you to do the work. That's on you. So hopefully we can keep it fun, we can keep it fresh, and we can keep it fast. But aforementioned, I am a Gemini. So it's kind of not my repertoire to have those skills.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
So we're gonna just do our best, okay? Hey, what's up? Hello, it's Katie Colson here. Welcome to, or welcome back to my channel. And we are starting this video with my neighbor who has the loudest truck of all time, who cut off his muffler and just sits outside my window, just... I'm gonna try my best to make it so that you can't hear him, but it really truly makes me so angry. Like, sir, why do you go and sit in the parking lot for 20 to 30 minutes before you actually leave? Do you not care about the environment? Do you not care about gas prices? Like, are you rich? Are you rich? I'm sorry. You know what? Actually, that's a funny segue. That's not what this video is about, but it is about being disappointed and frustrated and giving up on things. And I am frustrated and disappointed in this man, and in his entire race and his entire species of people, which is idiots. But then also, I've given up on hope that he's ever gonna change. It just stopped. Okay, now I kind of hope you did hear that. I said I lost hope that he was ever gonna change, but it stopped. Am I a wizard? Am I a witch? Oh, that was great. Okay, sorry. Wow, cut to like 2 seconds ago when I said this was gonna be short, and now the intro has lasted for like 5 to 7 minutes. Typical. Okay, basically I'm gonna be doing my most disappointing books of 2023. Now, of course, you could look at my worst books and be like, well, you were so disappointed in those. Isn't this just worst books, or isn't your worst books your most disappointing? There's a difference. My worst books list is gonna be books that, yeah, I was disappointed, but it's more than that. I'm mad about it. Like, I'm angry at those books. I have a visceral reaction, but this is gonna be books that either I was like, I wish I just never read it. Like, whatever. Like, I really did not like it at all. Like, it made me realize things that I do not like in reading, or that I don't want to read anymore. I'm sure all of that could have been left unsaid and you would have gotten the point. Again, this is gonna be a short video, can't you tell? We're gonna start out with books that I had such high hopes for. I really, really had such high expectations. I went into it, ended up not just thinking it was meh, but disliking it. And that doesn't mean that it's like problematic or it offended me, but I'm upset because I really, really thought that I was gonna give it 5 stars. The first one we're gonna talk about is Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. Now, I read this one on my iPad because for some reason it would not let me read it on my Kindle. Like, I mean, I thus found out why, and it's because the library has a specific code for it, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's still annoying. Okay, so I read this book, and honestly, at first, I hated the cover, and now I love the cover, but I did not care for this. I thought this was just immensely boring. Like, immensely boring. And also, I didn't like the characters. And for a literary fiction is like, yeah, highbrow, and it's supposed to be like character focused. That's like the definition of literary fiction. I did not like these characters. I did not like them at all. I did not cry. Not only did I did not cry, I actually found it like really cringy. And the parts that I was supposed to cry, I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, I know I shouldn't be here. I know this is not for me. And the love story, I didn't buy it. They'd only been married a year. I was like, I didn't get enough of them together to care about them before he was just keeping a bunch of secrets from her. Like the miscommunication, oh my God. Like, yeah, her kind of made more sense because she was just like kind of closed off. But him, just in his head, in his perspective, would just constantly be like, yeah, but I just, I tell her that I'm fine, but I'm not. Or like, oh, like he keeps a secret about him turning into a freaking shark for like months until I'm like, is she dumb? Well, how can she not tell that something is definitely wrong? Like she knows something's going on, but doesn't force him to go to the hospital. And when he does go to the doctor, doesn't force him to figure it out. She's just like, oh, do you get the results yet? No? Okay. I'm sorry. Your man, your husband is getting like a fin on his back and you're not going to like, we're going to ignore the problem? Yeah. And then there's a perspective, or a new character brought in halfway through the book. And like, for what? For what? For why? Why did we need that backstory? Why did we need that? That was pointless. And for a book that's not very long and is supposed to be so weird and literary fiction, it was a huge shot in the foot. The author shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, okay. I'm going to stop talking about this. I give it 2 stars. And I would not disrecommend it because I know other people that I really respect and admire their taste and them as creators have loved it. So give it a shot. But if you don't like it, come back and we can kiki in the comments. The second one, I do not think is a hot take. Like, I really don't think this is a hot take, but Happy Place by Emily Henry was such a big disappointment for me. It's not a terrible book. Like, it's not. I think I gave it 2.5 stars, but the disappointment makes it feel like a flat 2-star. It really does. And there is one part of the book that really upset me, but that's a personal thing and it doesn't have anything against Emily Henry. It's the fact that we are following a group of characters who have been best friends for like a decade, lived together for so long. And one of the characters, like our main character, is like, oh my God, I feel like I'm the only person that's like, or not her, but one of the friends is like, I'm the only person keeping this together. And basically the friends are like, well, that's just what happens when you become adults. Like you don't have friends anymore. You just drift apart and you focus on your significant other. And I was like, no. Let's not push that rhetoric. Please, let's not push that rhetoric. That is not what I want out there. Like, especially for me, being asexual and aromantic, I was like, that really hurt my feelings a lot. So I didn't like that. But this is kind of universally, I feel like, being seen as, if not people disliking it, people agreeing that this is the lowest of her books. I don't want to say like the worst of her books. I mean, for me, it's the worst of her books, but I feel like it's pretty universal that people are like, yeah, that one's okay. Anyway, have you heard about Beach Read? Have you heard about People We Meet on Vacation? Like the other books are better. And you know what? We can't expect an author to come out with a book every single year and them all to be 5 stars. Like, in what world? Like, we cannot expect that of someone, especially when they write contemporary romance, and there's only so many times you can write contemporary romance in different ways. And also certain tropes are not going to work for certain people. Okay, this is supposed to be my most disappointing, and I'm out here just like standing Emily Henry. Like, I'm sorry. I love Emily Henry. I will continue to pick up everything that she writes, but this for me was a miss. I am so sad about this one because I love this author. I say with a caveat because they're equal hits and misses, but also this, okay, let's just get it out of the way. Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. Look at this cover. Look at my copy. Look, hold. This is why you'll understand I'm disappointed. Look at that. Are you being serious? Wait. Damn! And I didn't care for it? Like, that's not right. That's not right. It's not right and it's not fair. It's unjust, okay? I adore The Atlas Six. I adore Alone with You in the Ether. This is why I'm so disappointed. Every element of this book is 5 stars. Every character relationship, every scene between characters. Oh my God, stunning. 5 stars. Amazing. Here's the problem. It is so convoluted. Like, I can't think of a book I've read that is more convoluted than this. When I tell you that I read 70, probably 80% of this book, had to go back to the beginning because I could not tell you what was going on. And I was trying. I could not tell you what was going on because things were happening so fast and there were so many characters, so many backstories of different characters. There's also this like game going on that you never really get any details about. So you're like, I'm sorry, is that the plot of this book? That's like one of the main plots of this game. And right now I can literally tell you almost nothing about it. What? Okay, so what I'll say. I like what she was trying to do, but she didn't do it. I don't know if she thought she ate. I mean, obviously the publisher thought she ate. She did not. This is a mess. It's a mess. And I hate that because this had every reason to be 5 stars for me. And it wasn't. And it wasn't. And obviously by the title of this video, I'm disappointed about it. We might as well get this one out of the way because we're piggybacking on Olivia Blake. And that is Olivia Blake's One for My Enemy. Now, this I liked way less than Masters of Death. Like, Masters of Death, I liked the characters. I thought there was a lot of like wittiness to it. I liked the relationships. This, no. This is a huge mess. And while disappointment was my main feeling toward Masters of Death, boredom. Just boredom. And honestly, in my opinion, bad writing. Structurally, not the prose. Because we all know, well, I say we all know, Olivia Blake can write. Her pen game, oh, stunning. But this, so much of the stuff that happens in this book is like, you know when a TV show will do that thing where like they kill a character and you're like, oh my God. And then the next episode they're back, or actually like by the end of the episode they're back, but that happens like 7 times in a season. That kind of feeling of I did something and I took it back and I did something and I took it back. Oh my God. This to a T. I could not keep straight what was actually, if something that happened had actually happened, or if it, you know what I'm saying? It was a mess. It was a freaking mess. Also, this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. And this is something I learned about myself. I do not like Romeo and Juliet. I don't like it. I think this is like my 3rd retelling of Romeo and Juliet, and I have disliked all of them. So this is one for the books. If it says it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, I will not be picking it up. Listen, y'all already know because I've talked about it so many times. But I love this author. Cut to my shrine of her. But Mona Awad, so kindly, like beyond kind, reached out to me in my DMs on Instagram and was like, hey, thanks for all your support. Would you like an early copy of Rouge? And when I tell you, she sent this to me like 10 months ago. I'm not joking. I was so excited. And then she also sent me the finished copy. And I'm so sad to tell you that I really, really disliked this book. I read it twice also. I physically read it, and then I listened to the audiobook when the book was published because I was like, maybe it was just taking me too long to read. Blah, 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 blah. No. And honestly, I feel like I can basically put this as a statement and not an opinion that this is not better than her other books. Like, I know that everything is up to interpretation, everything is a judgment, everything is an opinion. But I've read everything she's ever written, and this does not hold a candle to her other books. I feel like she got the memo that her books were really weird and confusing, and instead of taking that as the compliment that, at least for me, it would be intended as, she decided to make things more like obvious, and obvious not in terms of like, oh my God, that makes sense, but obvious in like the, okay, if you just left that up to interpretation, I would vibe with it, but you just told me what was happening, and what the, okay. I did not like this. Also, I don't care about being obsessed with skincare, and that's what this girl's obsessed with, and I didn't give a single shit. And also, why does she mention Tom Cruise so many times? Like, okay, if the girl's supposed to have like OCD or something where she can't stop herself from like hyperfixating on certain things and she keeps bringing stuff up, okay, but I hated reading about it. I hated it. I really did. I did not like the ending. I did not like this book. I'm so sorry. I will continue to pick up everything that Mona Awad writes, but this is a case of an author can have a one-hit wonder for you and them not be a one-hit wonder, because I adore Bunny with my whole freaking heart, but I have not given another one of her books 5 stars. Now, that could be that Bunny solely is the book for me from this author. I truly hope that's not the case, but as of now, it is kind of seeming that way. I was going to say we've got another hot take, but I feel like this one's going to be the hottest take. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus.
Surprise!
I'm going to tell you one thing, and one thing for sure. This is the ugliest cover I have ever seen in my living days.
You are crazy ugly!
dare Barnes & Noble be like, we're going to make this our Barnes & Noble 2022 book of the year. And her publishing team did this to her. This is garish. It's clip art garish. It is truly a travesty. And the only thing that makes me feel completely okay with saying that is because Barney Garmis herself hates this cover. Like, she hates this cover. Like, actively tried to get them not to do this and couldn't stop them, which is something that I like to tell people, because a lot of people believe, or at least think, that authors have a say in what their covers look like, and they really don't. I did not like this at all. I did not like this main character. I found her just overly cliche and dramatic and clip art-y as characteristics go, in my opinion. I found it like I could not suspend my disbelief at all. Like, how are you telling me that this woman, like, I believe in all of her ideals, Elizabeth Zott. Can't believe I remember her name. I cannot believe, like, I believe in all of her ideals, but the way that she was going about it in the time that this was supposed to be set in was the most fabricated, fictional thing I have ever read. I'm like, you cannot go on live TV and tell women, like, loudly how to...
Hey!
And she's still on air. Like, you probably... Her not getting burned at the stake, honestly, was shocking. But being famous, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I didn't like it. And I know everybody loves this book, so I'm sorry, but I didn't like it. And here we have another case of, I keep reading everything that this author has ever written, and I think I need to hang my hat on it might just be a one-hit wonder for me, and that's okay. But I say hang my hat. I'm not going to. I'm going to continue reading everything she writes. And that is Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. I listened to a audio arc of this a couple months before the release. Actually, like a while before the release. And I'm going to say it again. Convoluted. So freaking convoluted. There were 3 different storylines going on at one time that were like, pick a lane. Like, pick a lane. Are we talking about these teenagers? Are we talking about the Dagger Man? Are we talking about, I don't even remember what the third thing was. Are we talking about people dying? Are we talking about the future timeline where he's finding notes all over the place? Are we talking about this weird ass threesome that's going on between these characters? What? And also, another thing that I could not stand. These characters, apparently, supposedly, we're supposed to be 16 years old. I went so long in this book thinking that they were 11 and 12, like Stranger Things, like age group. And the second they started drinking, I was like, that's weird. And they said they were 16. I was like, they're 16. These are the most immature, childish. What?
There is only one thing worse than a rapist. Boom. A child. No.
Literally in the very beginning, our main character comes to town, okay, in this like little like backwoodsy town, and sees this girl and is like, oh my God, she's beautiful. And he's never had a crush ever in his life. And he's like dorky and weird. And then this guy is sitting there, and him and this girl are friends. Girl walks away, and the boy looks at our main character and is like, oh, you're interested in her? Well, too bad. I'm interested in her. And if we're going to be friends, we have to both agree to never, ever put moves on her. And I'm like, okay, who said y'all had to be friends? First off, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? It was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And then of course that doesn't work out. It was a mess. It was a freaking mess. I love, The Last House on Needless Street by this author, so I know she's capable of amazing things. But this, for me, and for what I believe to be a lot of other people, was a giant miss. This is one where I am not upset about this or this author. I have so much respect for them, but I'm not going to be continuing to read their books, and that is Junji Ito. So this is Cat Diary. I read this year, and what I've discovered, I really hate his art style. I'm sorry. He is the king of horror manga, like the absolute king. That's amazing for him. I like the ideas, but I hate his art style so much. And that's a very unpopular opinion. And I also hate short stories. And like every single one of his mangas are short stories. Is that Junji Ito? coming to take me away. Okay, let's stop talking about this. Oh my God, I'm scared. And then we have Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This is a book that was so big for such a hot minute, and then poof, I feel like it disappeared. Kind of like Encyclopedia of Fairies. That one has stuck around a little bit longer, but what this book taught me is that I do not like cozy. I don't like cozy anything. Like, I thought Legends and Lattes was okay, I don't know. Half a Soul, you know? It's cozy, it's fantasy, it's a romance. It's not for me. It's not for me, love. It's not for me. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's boring. It's boring. And also, here's the thing. Elias in this book, he's an asshole. He's an asshole. And people are like, oh my God, he's like so high, like Darcy. I'm like, no. He's a genuine like dickbag to the main character. I'm confused. I don't understand what we're supposed to be romanticizing about this man. This man, I don't like him. But Vanessa, the cousin or sister cousin, yeah, she was amazing. So that stopped it from being like 1.5 star, ended up giving it 2.5, but incredibly boring. And I'm going to be so honest, I do not understand the hype with this book. Number 10 is going to be an author that I am officially swearing off, not in any sort of negative hate kind of way, but you're just not the one for me, obviously. And that is Alison Cochrane, Kiss Her Once for Me. I read The Charm Offensive last year and really did not care for it at all. I just thought it was boring and just cliche and kind of annoying. And unfortunately, I feel very similarly about this book. The only difference being this is queer in the sapphic sense, and that was really great. And also, there is a butch character in this that, like, I don't feel like in traditionally published, like, big name romances, you really get a butch lesbian. So that was cool. And the sex, you know, the sex is on page if that's what you like. But this is a very short book, and in my opinion, it was very boring and ridiculous and cliche, and I did not like it. But that's clearly, it's Alison Cochrane and me. You know, her and I are here and there. It's her and I'm here and she can get out of my house.
I feel very attacked!
Relax.
But not in like I hate her way. I feel like that sounded really bad. Anyway, not going to read anything else by this author. I should also say that what Kiss Her Once for Me also taught me is that I don't really care for contemporary romance in a large sense. It takes an author that can really do it right and be funny. And honestly, Emily Henry and Allie Hazelwood, in a large part, can do it too. And Abby Jimenez are the only authors I've ever found that can breach that gap of romance and contemporary when also being something I give a shit about. And that segues perfectly into the last book, Orange, by Ichigo Takano. This is a slice of life. I don't like slice of life. I really do not like it. And every manga I pick up that's slice of life, I could not be more bored. Like, I get why it exists. That's amazing. That's so great. And I would highly recommend this for other people, solely, not because I think it's good, but solely because of the fact that it is so well beloved. I was so insanely bored reading this. And also, the main character is so timid and weak and shy. And like, that's who she is. That's not like she's a bad person or anything like that. But I found her insufferable to read about personally because I kept being like, just say something, just say something, just do something. And obviously, that's a me thing. I just don't like that. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with her. But I shouldn't have finished it. And honestly, I tried to watch the anime because I thought, well, maybe it's just because I was like physically reading it. When I tell you I couldn't get through the first episode because I was so bored of an anime. Yeah. That's bad. That's bad. Am I kicking myself? Am I kicking myself? If this video is under 30 minutes long, we've won. We have won.
Victory screech!
Do I think it's going to happen? No. Well, I have mild hope. I have mild hope. If I could stop talking now, that would be freaking great. Those are all the books that I found not to be on my worst list, but to be disappointing in a specific way that I felt wanting to discuss in this video. So thank you so much for joining. If you've gotten this far, then I feel like it would be very apt to leave an orange, a little orange emoji. I think that would be very sweet. So also, I love that emoji. See, this is why my videos last so long. Did I need to say that? No. Okay. I hope that you stay tuned for my best, my worst, my end of year book survey, my 2023 haul, my 2023 unhaul, because I have kept every single book that I'm going to unhaul except Fourth Wing, and I still have it in my possession to show you. So look forward to that, as well as plenty of other end of year content and my 2023 best books according to booktubers. I'm so excited. Okay. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, Instagram, Patreon, any of the such and whatnot, they are going to be linked down below. I hope all of you are having an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever it is you're having in whatever part of the world you are currently having it in. And I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.
The library, darling. Because reading is what?
You could try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all.